Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce ourselves.
My name is Nuraisha Malia.
And my name is Alafa Abdullah. So, this video to deliver our course ESP about discussing an article. So, who is the first turn?
I think that you're the first to explain your material, and then I will ask you. And then after you finish, then me.
Amalia. So, your title or your topic about the role of the material, that's right?
Yes.
Okay, there are 3 questions I will ask to you. For the first question, what is the most important aspect of ESP materials?
Okay. The most inESP materials, we can know that the most important aspect of the English specific purpose materials is that they reflect the target communicative situation. And ESP courses usually include authentic materials. Is that texts that are not designed for language learning purposes, but for expert in the ESP field.
Okay, so I think the aesthetic materials can come from many sources, that's right?
Yes.
For example, academic journals,
Yes.
textbook, or its other. So the next question I will ask is, what is the most important criteria to select the aesthetic materials?
Yes, you can read in my material that this authentic material of ESP can come from many sources such as academic journals, textbooks, magazine, and etc. And what kind of criteria or the important criteria to choose this authentic material is that the texts are relevant to or core in and the target communicative situation. And there are 3 most important. It is the material is relevant to the ESP courses, and what kind of occur in the material, and then the target communicative situation.
There are 3 points. Yeah?
Yes.
I got from your explanation.
Yes.
So, the last question for me. What is the goal or purpose that the teacher uses of the course book?
Okay. Usually in the teaching and learning process, the teacher usually and basically use course book, yes, to teach their students as a as a basic in the material. And what kind of categories the teachers into 3 types in terms of they use this course book. The first one is curriculum makers. It means that those who rarely use in a course book and create their own materials. So this course book is to create their own materials. Yes. And the second one is curriculum developers. Those who adapt the course book into suit learners if they perceive a shortcoming. And the last one is curriculum transmitters. Those who strictly follow the course book without making any changes. So there are three kind of categories that the teacher use this course book. First one is curriculum makers, curriculum developers, and curriculum transmitters.
Okay, so they are the main points from your title, the role of materials.
Yes.
Okay, so the next is your turn.
Yes. Next, I will ask your material.
Okay, that is yours.
Your material is about language in workplace, right?
That's right.
Okay, I have also have a trick question for you. The first one is, what are the reasons for adopting a project-based approach to ESP course design?
Okay, so I will explain. The course is a project-based methodology from by Stoller 2006 that it combines language work and content or relevant content in the UAA, includes reflections student authored using a combination of a lecture type format, introduction done to the theoretical concept and the research method that they will be using for their project, and a series of texts that completed during the classroom sessions. So there are the examples like report reading, presentation, and discussion.
So can be used in a discussion, in presentation, and so on. Okay. For the second question, what do you think about this course make the readers are interesting to decide? And can you give the models to us?
Okay, good question, Amalia. I guess is the course are interesting because it is provide a perspective on how ESP can be made relevant and specific even when there are time restrictions, institutional contracts, and varying level of English proficiency. And
For the models?
okay, the model are described into 5 points. They are cultural literacy. It means they reflect how knowledge of culture impact on communications. And second is language and gender. This refers to the understanding of and ability to use the various communicative genres within organizational settings. And the third is audience awareness. This refers to responsiveness to audience and how this determines the form and content of communication. And the fourth point is social capital and sustainability. This refers to the ability to network, build goodwill, and create positive enduring relationship in organizational settings. And the fifth point is persuasion. It means refer to the ability communicative effectively to achieve objective by Nicholson 2015.
So I get the point that this course is interesting because it provides a perspective on how ESP course can be made relevant, and there are 5 models, components. And the first is cultural literacy, language and gender, audience awareness, social capital and sustainability, and the last is persuasion. Okay, thank you. And for the last question, what are the major course aims for the students?
Okay, for the major about this course, language in the workplace are 3 points. For the first is ability to communicate it effectively. In the business environment, students will be required to demonstrate competence in professional communication, but written and oral. Second, ability to think critically. It is solve problems and be creative. Students will be required to demonstrate the ability to make informed choice regarding strategies for handling all forms or professional communication in duty. Thus, a complex or sensitive matter. And the third point is competed successfully in global business environment. Students will gain an understanding of culturally determined the differences in communication and learn how to operate within multicultural about these work settings to ensure harmonious and effective communication among different cultural groups. Yeah, that's the course major.
What I get from you that is language in workplace aims is it is so important for the students.
Yeah.
And the aims is number one is ability to communicate effectively in the business environment and ability to think critically, solve problems and be a creative person and then compete successfully in a global business environment.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you for your for answering my questions.
Okay.
And this is the last.
Okay. Maybe enough from us. Thank you so much for your attention and see you next time. And we close. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. See you.